All right. So, in the assignment videos, the one you see me carving the foam, I use these two. Number 11 blade X-Acto knife, and old school. This handle's like probably 40 years old, maybe more. Anyway, it's a number 2 blade. I like this one because it's curved and it's on both sides, so I can get into tight areas if I need to. Now, does this mean that these are the only 2 tools you can use? Heck no. As you can see, I got a bunch of stuff spread out here, and I'll go through some of them. Well, in the video you see me use this. This is great because it can give you a lot of control. Well, maybe not as much as I had wanted. And as you've probably found out or saw, this stuff is really messy. But anyway, so there's a pretty cool cut right there with just an X-Acto knife. Now, and then you saw me use this one. This one's cool because it has such a thin top, I can get in pretty deep. Like that. Now, like I said, those aren't the only 2. You can use all kinds of stuff. If you've got wood tools, my set of tools is up at school, but this is one just like it. You can get these. They're the cheap wood carving tools. Get them almost anywhere. But these are cool. These you can use too. You don't have as much control, but they're great for doing flat areas. So if you need to get some kind of relief happening, you can do it with this. And remember, there's 2 sides. This is a flat side, and that has the bevel on it, and it's going to do 2 different things. This, if you go flat, you can keep things flat. But this, if you need to kind of get a little bit of a scoop because of that bevel, you can do that. And now these are just wood carving tools as well. They're just a little bit nicer, nice handled, a little bit better steel, and all that. And they come in different shapes. So this is like a small round gouge, smaller round gouge, a flat that I used on plaster that I shouldn't have. I don't know what I was thinking there. So that's an angled flat, then a flat, and then oh, this one's a V gouge. There's a little V there. And then this one's the round gouge, just a little round gouge. Now these, if you have to do concave areas, are great. And they're usually a little bit sharper than some stuff, so they work out great. Remember, with foam, the sharper the better. But with that comes more safety issues that if it's razor sharp, you have to be aware. So that's the round. Once again, a flat, you know, you can come at an angle. To get a nice triangular relief. So those are those. Now, if you go out in the shop, out in the garage, whatever, files can be a cool thing too. I mean, this stuff is super soft, so it's easy to sand or file. This nice little rat tail file, if you have to get some circular stuff, can be cool, nice and round. Obviously, the same happens with this 3-sided. Now, these are fine metal files, which will take the material away a little bit slower and give you a little bit finer detail, but a wood file can work just as well. So nice Nice angular there. So if you're doing something abstract, these kind of tools work great. Well, let's say you want to do some kind of animal, like a bear or something that's kind of furry. Oh, I forgot this big old flat file too. So this is a good way to, if you want to get just a flat side. Then you can get just a nice bevel there. Everybody knows what a bevel is, I hope. I had a student 2 years ago that did not know what a bevel was. Back to an animal. So let's say you're going to do some kind of furry creature. I'm going to round off. First, okay, I'll go next to, we got kitchen tools here. These are great. Just your standard issue paring knife. So you can get it kind of round, and then your finger can come in and just round it out and make it real nice. That's the beauty of this foam, is that it sands, shall we say sands, with just your fingers. So it's really very, very nice to work with. But at the same time, because it's so soft, it can be easily dented. So you have to be careful handling it. I'm holding on to it, but barely. Okay, so that's a standard dish, steak knife. Fork can be cool. You can get texture with the fork. Kind of cool. So that's a good way to get some nice texture for abstract type stuff. A spoon. Just to scoop stuff out, and then you can go in and sand it with your finger. And with this stuff, if you think you have to have a little bit more meat to what you're doing so that you have enough material that you can sand down, file down, cut down to what you want. So that's a nice concave thing there. You need to get in a material. These are always cool. With a melon baller, fruit baller, or whatever. They're cool. Because I can just dig right in. Give it a little bit of a twist. And then I have not only this nice circular impression that I can go in and clean up with my finger. But then there's also this cool half sphere here. So once you get to the waxing, let's say you want to add a half a ball coming out in relief. Once you've waxed it, you can attach that with the wax and then just clean it up, and now you've got both inside, outside. Then, of course, if you're afraid of the old razor sharp X-Acto knives, butter knives work as well too. And with that little bit of a serrated edge, you can cut pretty good. Your tools only allow you to do so much, so that's why you have to think about what kind of tool you could use. Because this, obviously, does not do as nice of a job of a hole as our melon baller, but it can be done. You just go in and then you just start pushing it around with your finger. This stuff is extremely dusty too, so don't do this in the kitchen. Maybe put down some kind of a tarp or something, sheet, towels. It's messy. But art wouldn't be fun if it wasn't messy. All right, so those are tools. Everybody's got these in the drawer. So try different stuff there. Now, because I do what I do, I've got dental tools. Dental tools are great too. A lot of you might have these, especially you clay workers. You know, these are great for doing finer detail, getting into areas that you might not be able to get into with something much larger, even an X-Acto knife, because of the small handle. They also, what's cool about dental tools is they have different tips on them, and so, you know, you can do a lot of different stuff. Like if something's super detail, like an eye, anyway, you see where I'm going. I mean, this stuff you can't get too detailed with, but with a little bit of, just a little bit of attention to what you're doing. And sometimes I'm not even cutting, I'm more crushing. Use curves and stuff too, because they can help out. So you can start to see an eye there, I think. So those are dental tools. You know, they come in different sizes, different things, so you can get nice detailed stuff, blah, blah, blah. Nice and wide. Scoops. You know, especially if you need to hog away stuff that's in an area that's hard to get to. These work out great. Then you got your standard issue clay tools. Things like this. Same kind of thing. Not just like clay. But you can do stuff with these two. So that's the round end. The square end. Remember, not going as deep as you might want to, and then you can come in and scrape it to a finer finish. Kind of like the dental tools, but made for clay work. Around at I call it the dagger end. But yeah, this is the same thing. There's that one. Just scoops, clay scoops. Can also be used to round stuff out. Two-sided. You know, utilize both sides of stuff. This has a nice round. But then it also has this nice, almost a V groove. So there's that. And even wood clay tools will work just fine. Obviously, because they're not as sharp, it's a little rougher on the edges. Where'd the brush go? Oh. But you get nice, nice cuts with that as well. That's just wood. A texture tool for clay, same thing. Ooh, that doesn't work as much at all. that way, but it works pretty good just straight up and down, almost like the fork. Because I guess technically that would be a fork. And you don't have to go out and buy them. This was just a popsicle stick that I sanded and made it into a clay tool. It's yeah, it's not as sturdy as what you can buy, but for nothing, you gotta love it. Same thing. And obviously, you know, if I sanded this edge a little bit sharper, it would give me a much cleaner cut. Even these with a little bit of a scoop. But I'm working real soft here too. I'm not pushing real hard because this material is so soft, so you have to be aware of how deep and how hard you can push. Now they look a little ratty, but you go in and you clean those out with the brush. There you go. Let's just see our fork. Beautiful. And then, of course, there's these. You know, I've cut my nails recently, but if you have a little bit longer nail, you'd be surprised what you can just do with your fingernail. What I like about using my fingers is I get a much softer roundness. And I can just take a bunch out to kind of just crush as easily. Can almost get like the almost like the spoon or the melon baller. So don't be afraid to just, although that does make it a little bit dustier and, you know, this stuff is messy, super messy, but I love it. So hopefully that'll give you an idea what some of the tools can do. Don't be afraid to try stuff out. You know, be creative, I guess, is the goal. All right, good luck. We'll talk to you soon. Oh, I got sidetracked, and I was going to show you if you're going to do some kind of like a hairy animal. I'm going to round some of this off a little bit. Wire brush. You know, this is for cleaning off. I think it might be battery terminals. But this thing works great for giving it like a hair texture. So that can give you a real nice hairy type texture. So yeah, there you go. Try different stuff. Don't be afraid. Never be afraid.